Hey guys, it's Kimberly, and today's video is a video I have been waiting so long to film. I feel like I've been just waiting forever, and that is the Jeffree Star Cremated collection review video. I love all Jeffree Star's products. I love his cosmetic line, and I'm sure if you've been watching any of my videos, you can tell because I have quite a few of his items. But his shipping takes a really long time, and I have been sitting on the edge of my seat. I feel like I'm the very last person in the world to receive their cremated palette. He's actually doing a restock on Saturday, and I just got mine today. But I'm still gonna film this video. I'm still just as excited about the palette. Better late than never, so here it is. We are going to talk about this bad boy today, and I also have all 4 of the lip gloss shades to talk about. So before we dive into the inside of the palette, let's talk about the outside. This is the palette inside of its unicarton. So you can see that it's got a cutout right here. It says cremated, and you can see the little peekaboo of Jeffree underneath it. So this is a question I had, and I actually kind of didn't think it was the way it was. I just assumed it was a cutout of the letters, but it's actually got plastic, so it's totally enclosed. All the letters are filled with like a clear plastic, so that's pretty cool. I feel like it'll stay sturdier together that way, so if you're interested in keeping the packaging, I do think that kind of adds to the integrity of the package versus it just being total window. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I like that. It also says, I don't know if it's washing it out, but it also says the palette name on top, and then on the back, of course, you have all of the ingredients, and it's cruelty-free and all that good jazz right here on the back. And it's like this really pretty white marble, which is kind of the theme for this whole collection. So once you pop the palette out of its unicarton, this is what it looks like right here. This beautiful photo of Jeffree, and he's just kind of turning into ashes. It's a really pretty picture. It's really cool. I love that it's black and white. Definitely ties into the theme, but I don't like that it doesn't say the name of the palette on the front. I will say he never really showed it, but I'm excited to see that the binding, basically, like of a book would be, it does say Jeffree Star Cosmetics Cremated Eyeshadow Palette, and it's got a little picture of an urn. That's pretty cool. I'm glad it says it at least somewhere, but I feel like it's very interesting to go for a palette that doesn't have a name on the front. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way, because like nobody else has talked about that, but that kind of like, I don't know, I just thought that was weird, but this photo is iconic, so love it. And then of course on the back he's got his little logo and whatever, and yeah, really cute palette. So let's open her up. Look at that. So of course it's a big old mirror on top, and it just fell out, but it does come with one of those clear pieces of plastic to protect your eyeshadows. The inside is all white marble, and it is the same component as the Jawbreaker palette. So they're like the 2 sister palettes. So if you have that palette, it's the same size and layout of the shadows. And there are all the colors right there. It's a really pretty palette. I will say when I got it and opened it, I was very, very surprised because it actually looks way prettier, in my opinion, in person than it does in photos online. I feel like online it looks very dull and kind of washed out on cameras, but in person I feel like it is much more vibrant and rich looking. So I do really appreciate that. I do have a little bit of a bias towards wanting this palette and liking this palette, because if you have seen my how I did my makeup in high school video, or just have been around and heard me talk, you can see my shirt. I was goth in the day I was in high school. Totally goth, like the only goth kid. Black lipstick, black dark eyeliner, black eyeshadow, the whole 9. That was what I did every day, and I loved it. And this just makes me feel like if I had something like this in high school, I would have killed for this. Like, this is so cool, and it just brings me back, so I really like that. I had to put on one of my school shirts, one of my favorite school shirts, for this video, and just kind of like relive my old fantasy. That's just what I wanted to do. So really like this. Now before I swatch any of the shades and get into the eye look, I do kind of want to touch on the controversy of this palette. I don't want to say a whole lot, but I do kind of want to address it because I feel like it's important. I know tons of people were upset about the name of the palette and the theming of the palette being cremated and it being very death-centered, especially in the time that we're in right now, having it coincide with COVID and so many people losing their loved ones. So I think it's really rough. I think he was probably in between a rock and a hard place with this because he did register the name of the palette like way far in advance before any of this happened. And I think it's good that he pushed back the launch because it was originally supposed to launch like a month earlier than it did. I definitely think that was appropriate, but I also can understand that there's only so far you can push it back before the makeup is expired or getting close to expired. And I think that it's important for him and his company to keep the integrity of the product for the consumers over people's feelings, I guess. I think that safety comes first, and if they were even contemplating pushing it back to where the product would be no good anymore, I think that that would be a worse option, but that's just my opinion. I do see how it's kind of a sensitive topic and how it's kind of hard right now, and I definitely understand why people are upset, and I think especially if I had lost a loved one, it would probably get me very upset. I'm fortunate enough that I have, let me knock on wood, oh my goodness, I have been able to keep my loved ones with me, but I do understand how it can be really hard for a lot of people. So with that being said, that's my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I don't blame anyone for being upset, and I don't blame anybody for enjoying it. So I feel like it's just a personal matter. But with that being said, let's get into the juiciness of this palette and let's play with the eyeshadow. Before I put it on my eyes, I'm gonna do a couple of swatches for you of the shades that intrigue me the most, just so we can see them. But I'm not gonna swatch every single shade here because Jeffree did that in his launch video and there are a lot of shades here to swatch, so I'm just not gonna do that, but I am gonna do some of the ones that seem to intrigue me. All right, so here are a bunch of swatches of colors that jumped out to me and I just had to dig my fingers in. So let's see if I can remember which ones I did. From the top, we have, this one is Angel of Death, and then we have Pallbearer, Diamond Ashes. These top three are gorgeous. They are so reflective and so smooth on the fingers. If you have the Bloodlust collection, it's like his like Diamond Wet shade or whatever that one is called, the wet one. So good. It's so smooth. It's so buttery. So I love those. And then we have two matte shades right here. We have Inheritance and Solemnly Swear. I really liked those two because Inheritance is like a green undertone and Solemnly Swear is more of a blue undertone, so I thought those were really cool. And then this shimmery shade right here is Mausoleum, and I thought that was a beautiful, more like beige skin tone, kind of like champagne-y color, so I really liked that one as well. These are just gorgeous. All of them swatched amazing. One swatch super pigmented. I am a big fan of Jeffree's formula, and I definitely don't think these disappoint. Honestly, I think that these are potentially even better than some of his other swatches that I've had in the past. I feel like they were all very soft to the touch. And of course, swatches don't say everything. What counts is how it looks on the eyes, so let's get into that. All right, so now that we are all zoomed in, I am going to go in with this big ol' fluffy brush. It's a Morphe JH30, and I'm going to dip into this shade right here, which is Casket Ready. And I'm just gonna use this as kind of just a transition shade and pop it all over. So now that I just kind of have that area set like that, I am going to go into this shade right here, which is called Obituary, and I am going to buff that into the crease, again, kind of as a transitional shade. I am going to try and use as many shades as I can out of this palette. It's a big palette, so definitely won't be all of them, but I'm going to use a lot of shadows. So yeah, I'm gonna buff this into the crease, but I'm going to take it pretty high and pretty low and just kind of everywhere. I wanna go pretty dark with this look, and when you go dark, it is definitely to your benefit to gradually go there and use as many steps as you can, because that's what's gonna help you really blend the shadows and get more of a seamless, smooth finish. Now I'm gonna switch to a slightly smaller fluffy brush. This is a Morphe R37, and I am going to dip into this shade right here, which is called Eulogy. And this, again, I'm gonna put in the crease. There is definitely some kickback in the pan. Haven't noticed any real fallout on the face, but there's a bunch of kickback in the pan, as is, in my opinion, with most of Jeffree Star's palettes. Doesn't bother me, but I like to mention it just in case it's something that will bother you. Next, I'm gonna keep the same brush, and I'm going to go into this shade right here, which is Solemnly Swear. It's one of the ones that I swatched in the beginning. And again, I'm gonna keep this in the crease, but I'm probably only gonna bring it like three-quarters of the way in. Eulogy, the one I just went in with, I've been bringing it from the outer corner all the way to the inner corner, but as we get darker and darker now, I'm gonna bring it less and less far over and really concentrate the darkness on the outer corner. I think I'm gonna go in with 2 more matte shades for the crease area. Like I said, I'm using a ton of different shadows, but why not? Let's make the most of it. So the next shade I'm gonna go in with is this one right here, and it is called Gravedigger, and I'm again gonna put that in the crease, but probably only take it about halfway this time. So as you can see, that definitely made a pretty nice smooth transition from light to dark, which is exactly what we want, and the easiest way to achieve it is by using a lot of shadows. So that's what we did, and I'm gonna go in with my darkest shade, the last shade I'm gonna go in with, and I'm going to use this brush, which is much smaller, and this is the Morphe JH34, and we are gonna go in with the shade Hearse right here. And I'm just gonna put this mainly focusing on the outer corner of the eye to just give it that really dark dimension. And then I will probably go right back in with the brush we were using earlier just to blend everything together. So now we have it get really dark on the outer corner, which is perfect. Just what I wanted, because I'm gonna be going in with very dark shimmers. So for the shimmers on the lid, the first thing I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna go in with 3 shimmers. I'm gonna go in with Angel of Death, Pallbearer, and Diamond Ashes. Those are the 3 that I swatched on my arm. I'm obsessed with all 3 of them, so I think I'm gonna do a gradient, kind of lay the Angel of Death in the outer corner of the lid, Pallbearer in the middle, and then just in like the very inner corner flicking up, I'll put Diamond Ashes. So I think that that will be beautiful and match our gradient really well. So first I'm gonna go in with this Luxie 211 brush. It's a concealer brush, but I love to use it on my eyes for shimmers. And I'm going to dip into this Angel of Death shade. Got my brush coated nice and good, and now I'm going to press it onto the outer corner, or outer third-ish of the eyelid. So now that I have that laid down to keep it nice and dark in the outer corner, I'm just gonna flip this brush around to the clean side of it, and I am going to dip into this shade right here, Pallbearer, and I'm going to put that all over the center of the lid. It's very light reflecting, so I definitely want this to kind of be the main star. I just needed the Angel of Death shade to keep the depth for me. So I don't think I absolutely love the way that that shadow is laying down with the brush. I typically put my shimmers on with my fingers anyway, just because I think it packs the most punch, but when I'm doing multiple shimmers on the eyes, sometimes that's a little bit difficult to have that kind of control with your finger, so I will go in with a brush like I did just now. However, I think I'm gonna switch over to my finger just for the center shade because it really, I mean, it's laying down, but it could be so much more. So I'm gonna use my finger for that. So just if you're a brush kind of a person, just so you know, you might need to like spray it or something. I don't really like doing that. I've had my shadows, not Jeffree Star shadows, but just shadows in general react kind of weird to that. So I don't really spray anything. So I'm just gonna go in with my finger. Yeah, that is so much better. So that's exactly what I wanted right there. And then I'm gonna go in with another kind of packer brush. And this is the Morphe JH41 brush. And I'm going to go into Diamond Ashes right here and just kind of put that right in the inner corner. Ooh, I don't think this one's gonna like a brush either. Like you can see barely anything's coming up on the brush. So let's see. Oh yeah, no, this is not gonna, at least not this kind of brush. Let me grab a different kind of brush and see if I can get it with something else. I also have some little detail brushes like this that I love for the inner corner and the brow bone. I wasn't gonna use it in this look because I am gonna bring that shade on the lid a little bit, and this will do it. It'll just take a little bit longer because it's such a tiny brush. But let me see if the pigment will take better to this brush. No, it just really doesn't want to pick up on a brush. Okay, interesting. I'm gonna try and just do this with my finger, so let's see. See, look at how much reflection we have now, whereas with the brush, it wasn't really laying down anything, which is so weird. It's kind of a pain in the butt for a shadow like this that I would really mainly be using in the inner corner because I want a little brush, because I don't necessarily want it to come out so far like it does now because of my finger, but interesting. Well, even though we had to go in with our fingers and adjust things a little bit, I do think it still looks beautiful. So I'm gonna go in with this brush and just kind of blend the edges to the shimmers like this, just to make sure everything looks flawless. And now I'm going to go in with this little pencil brush here, and this is the Morphe M506. And I am going to dip into the shade Obituary, and I'm gonna run this along my lower lash line. And now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of the shade Eulogy and run that along my lower lash line as well. And I'm just gonna add a touch of Solemnly Swear, this shade, to the lower lash line, but on the outer half of the eye. All right, I absolutely love that. And now I'm gonna go off camera and do the other eye real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, so that is both eyes completed right there. I love the way that it came out. I love a really dark eye. I just think it looks beautiful. I'm so happy. So now with the eyeshadow out of the way, let's move on to the glosses. This is the unicorn that the glosses come in. They say the gloss, and they are also that marble look to them. So they're beautiful, you know, just like the normal gloss packaging, but marble to fit the theme. So I love that. And then the 4 glosses. They are his traditional packaging, but with white tops, and I think it looks so pretty. Those are the 4 shades right here. We have Heaven's Gate, 6 Feet Under, Coroner's Kiss, and Funeral Parlor. So those are the 4 shades right there, and I don't have anything on my lips right now. I just wiped off the foundation, and I'm going to swatch all 4 of these on my lips as is, and then I'm going to put on a lipstick and pick one. So we'll start with probably the most popular, and this is Heaven's Gate, which is like a beautiful little pearly shimmer. Yeah, that is just so pretty, so simple, so basic. I absolutely love that shimmer shade. I feel like that's just so, you could wear it alone. I feel like it would also look beautiful over a nude lip. And I think it's one of his most wearable lip glosses to date. So he does have a couple that are like this, but a bunch of his glosses have like a pink sparkle or a purple sparkle or a blue sparkle underline with it. And this one is super neutral, just like regular old glitter in it. So I really like that, and I feel like you could go kind of any way with a light lip, and I love it. Next up is this gloss right here in the shade Coroner's Kiss. This one looks like they're all kind of like in that gray family, but this one looks a little more bronzy gray. So let's see how this looks. It definitely has gray undertones, so I could see how people might be uncomfortable with this kind of a lip, but I'm gonna go ahead and say this is probably the second most wearable, especially if you're a deeper skin tone. This is gonna look so beautiful because it does have kind of that bronzy undertone to it as well. And I feel like it's so pretty for the summer. If you've got like a nice golden tan and you're sitting by the pool, I feel like this is really pretty. And I also feel like if you put like a certain kind of bronzy-ish, brownish lip underneath it, I feel like it would make it shine even better. So yeah, I also am really happy with this one. This next one is probably the one I'm the most skeptical about, and that is this shade right here. It is Funeral Parlor, and it is Funeral Parlor, and it is like a gunmetal silver shade, and I feel like, I don't know. Let's see what it looks like on the lips. So that is it right there. It's cool, it's grungy, it's definitely gray. I do like it, but I feel like this I could wear by itself or over a nude. This I could wear by itself over a nude. And this one, I just feel like I won't wear this by itself or over a nude. The next one that we're going to do, 6 Feet Under, is like a really dark. So like this I would wear over a black lipstick. This I could wear over a black lipstick, but I feel like I'll grab the other one before this one because it's darker. So I feel like it's just kind of that in between where I'm not really sure how often I will use this one, but it is really pretty. And if you wear gray lipstick, because I know that's a thing, this would probably be the perfect one to go over it. I'm just not usually a gray person. I'm like all the way black or just nude, pink, red. I usually don't go for like a gray, but it's pretty. I like it. And then the last shade right here, 6 Feet Under, is the dark lip gloss, and I feel like this will probably look beautiful over black lipstick. Oh yeah, a little funky, grungy over nothing, but is a really cool color, and I feel like it will bring a really fun sparkle to a shade of black lipstick. So I like that a lot. Also, I don't think I mentioned, I am wearing D-Star lashes in the style Bernadette. They're nice and dramatic and full, and I just thought that that would be perfect for such a dark look. I feel like you need to kind of go in with like a lash when you're going this dark, so love that. And now let's put on some lips. So I want to do an ode to my old self. She's still a part of me, I just don't do it very often. I want to do black lips to complete this gothic look for this gothic theme collection. So I want to go in with my Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lip in the shade Weirdo, which is black. Love it. It just speaks to my soul. The name, the color, I just love it so much. But it is definitely hard to get a perfect line with a dark lipstick, especially a dark liquid lipstick. So I'm gonna line my lips. I'm going to go in with my ColourPop lip liner in Bold Chic and line my lips. And now that we have something to base our liquid lipstick off of, I'm gonna go in with Weirdo. Such a beautiful pitch black. I love that. I got a little carried away, so they're definitely not perfect, but that's okay. Not everything has to be perfect. So that is the shade Weirdo, and to top it all off, we're gonna go in with the 6 Feet Under gloss that he launched in this collection and put that over the top of the black and see what that looks like. Oh my gosh, that is stunning. That is like magic. That is so gorgeous. That is like galaxy, dark magic, like witches. Oh, it's everything. I am such a fan of that combination. You like don't even know. So I am so pleased with the way that everything looks. Like I said, I have a soft spot in my heart for this kind of makeup, so I am so happy. But honestly, I feel like It could have been a very boring palette, but when I saw it in person, it is definitely so much more rich and exciting in person, I think, than it is online. And it swatches beautifully and it applies to the eyes beautifully. I've just loved everything about this launch. And if you are contemplating it and want to get your hands on it, Saturday, girl, it restocks and you should get your hands on it because it is, I love it. I absolutely love it. And honestly, it's marketed as a gothic palette, but it's definitely split into two. The top two, or bottom two, technically, I'm holding it upside down, are very light shades, and the bottom two or top two, are very dark shades. So I feel like you could use half of this palette, even a little more than half of this palette, like this shade, just a couple of shades in there to deepen up the crease and create really, really soft, beautiful, everyday looks and not even get into like the smoky, dark, crazy, gothic vibe of the palette. So I definitely feel like there's a little something for everybody in here. And neutrals, I mean, can you ever have enough? So this is awesome. It gets 2 big thumbs up from me. I'm so glad I purchased it. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you have purchased it as well or tried it, what you think about it. And if you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!